Hey viewers, QuirkyFan73 here, back today with another review. And today, we're going to be talking about another My Hero Academia movie. Continuing our streak of My Hero Academia movies, we're going to take a look at a film that is widely regarded as the best of the My Hero Academia franchise, but to me, I think it's overrated. So let's take a look at My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. Set between the events of Season 5 and before Season 6, we follow Izuku Midoriya, Katsuki Bakugo, and Shoto Todoroki as they are in the fictional town of... I do not remember, but basically, this is a world crisis. A cult called Humorize is set to unleash nukes that would blow up at specific areas in the world, and when it blows off, people who has quirks will go haywire, and pretty much is a doomsday cult. Now, there's a entire subreddit, or there's an entire different set of things with the whole quirk doomsday theory, but I'm not going to talk about it because even I'm confused by it. But it's run by a cult leader named Fleckturn, who obviously wants to restart the world back to the age of just humans. But then, not only do you meet these new characters and new villains, but you meet Rhodey Soul, our new movie character, as he gets in a scuffle with Deku that ends up having Deku becoming a worldwide fugitive. So, it's up to Deku and Bakugo and Shoto, including this Rhodey guy, to not only stop Fleckturn, but to save the fucking world. This is often regarded as one of, if not the best My Hero Academia movie. It has the great story, the great action, and pretty much just feels like a My Hero Academia movie with a worthy story. Now, while I still prefer My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, I think this movie's a step up. But I don't really understand why many people really like this movie. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad, but there's just something about the movie that just doesn't really feel like it's superior. Now, I'm going to get going with the goods, because the goods are actually really good. The fucking animation. Holy shit, the animation looks spectacular. This is right before when My Hero Academia sort of slipped down with its animation, especially with Season 6 and Season 5. But you can really tell that because most of the animators that worked on the show were working on the movie. And I believe the movie was done by Studio Bones Team A, while the anime was done by Team B and C. So, because of that, I don't really blame the studio behind it, because not only were they working on a season of My Hero Academia, but they were also working on a movie. But holy shit, did they really work their asses off. The animation is one of the most fluid animations we ever got in the entire anime. It just feels so fluid. That whole chase scene with Deku and Rhodey, let alone, just feels like it came straight out of Spider-Man. And the Black Wit movements that you see Deku do, those are actually really great. I give props where credit it's due. And I just need to mention this. The opening was just fucking amazing. The thing just really felt like an entire comic book movie. And I just love how My Hero Academia encapsulates and captures that feeling of, hey, this isn't in our real world. This is a comic book. And I especially love that. And another thing I really do like, Rhodey. I think Rhodey's a really cool protagonist, new movie protagonist. A new character that Deku can hang out with. And I don't understand, for the love of fucking God, that this dude managed to crack the top 20 or top 10 most fan-favorite movie My Hero Academia characters. I don't know how he did it, considering he just only appeared in one movie. But god damn it, Rhodey is just that guy. He's not only cool, but he also has some of the best moments in the movie with his parkour and just his character arc, where he goes from a guy who hates villains to intentionally becoming a hero for his family. Another thing that you can obviously see is, I may have mentioned this in my Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie review, but you really see that most of the time these new movie characters are without parental figures. For My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, it's implied that Melissa's mom passed away. For My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, the two kids' parents, the dad loses his quirk and the mom died. And in this movie, Rhodey lost his mom and his dad, who was a member of the cult but tried to stop them, but ended up dying in the process. And, like, when we get into the next movie, it's kind of repetitive. But, yeah. I also really do like how we really get to see a lot more in terms of the world of My Hero Academia. We really get to see some really cool background. I especially love the moments when we see Deku and Rhodey just traveling. It just feels like it feels like a buddy comedy, but it's not really that. This movie is dark, and I mean it's really, really dark. Not in the terms of Inuyasha Movie 3, Swords of an Honorable Ruler, or even Demon Slayer, or even Jujutsu Kaisen, but for a PG-13 movie, it's kind of bloody. This is a movie that I wouldn't recommend showing your kids, but it's not as bad as, say, Berserk or Akira. This is just a very dark movie in terms of the way how people or this cult views quirks. And Fleck-Turn, in return, no pun intended, really does explain or really does show that, you know, we do not know if we could control these powers that we were not even supposed to have, let alone or even gifted. How could we do that if, as the world evolves, would quirks evolve? It's a pretty cool concept, and I'm not going to go into in-depth details on the whole quirk doomsday theory because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people that did this better than me. But what other things I do like about this movie? I mean, I like the music. The music here is actually brand new, reusing a bit of the anime's music, but also using them and remastering them into much better fitting musics. One of the more famous pieces in this movie is The Spirit to Succeed, which I think is a really great musical bit. And another musical bit that I really do love is the opening, which is very fantastic, and Go Straight, or the other version of You Say Run, which, holy fucking shit, that final battle was really top notch. But I'll get back to that a little later. So, I think this movie's good. Like, animation quality side too, yet again with the animation, is really fucking fluid. So, why don't I like this movie? Well, it's kinda very simple here. I don't like this movie mainly because of the villain, Fleck-Turn. Like, his reasonings is understandable, but his reasonings are also kinda petty. The fact that he really didn't seem to get that kind of attention, or it's just shunned away by everybody because of how different he was, it's kind of petty and kind of predictable. But it doesn't mean he's a bad villain. He's definitely one of the more stronger villains that Deku had to face. It's pretty much Gentle Criminal. The whole fight with him and Fleck-Turn just reminds me of the fight he had with Gentle Criminal, but here, Fleck-Turn really puts it up to 11, and this movie has a lot of blood. I mentioned this before, but this has a lot of blood, including the final act, which, holy shit, like, for a PG-13 movie, I'm surprised it even got an R-rated. But, hey, I'm not here to discuss that. But another issue that I really didn't like about this movie was the whole thing that, you know, Class 1, this is the era where Class 1A really gets shifted to the sidelines. And it does suck to see, because the reason why I love Heroes Rising was because it really just felt like a My Hero Academia movie, including the entire cast. It just felt like an entire movie for My Hero Academia. Here, you basically follow Deku, Bakugo, Shoto, and this kid, Rhodey. And Bakugo and Shoto don't even really do much in this movie either. They're just there just for aiding Deku, and they even have their own challenges, but even then, it's just not that interesting. Another issue that I really don't like about this movie is the plot twist. Or, well, the sudden plot twist where Rhodey fakes that he was given up, that he was surrendering, and he was going to give basically the key to stopping the bombs. And I thought that was kind of cliche and a little too predictable. Like, don't get me wrong, he has an arc, but it just kind of felt rushed, in my opinion. But then we come into one of the biggest scenes that I really do like about this movie, the final fight with Deku and Fleck-Turn. I mentioned that it was bloody, but Jesus Christ, the final fight was fucking worth it. That whole speech where Deku's like, they cannot lose, they cannot afford to not only let the world die, but let everyone they are depending on to die too. And I just love how Deku's Japanese voice actor, and especially his English voice actor, put it in the works. They really cooked here. And that whole sequences where Deku is punching non-stop, being brilliant work of Yutaka Nakamura, like, and Ghost Straight playing, or well, you say Run playing. Holy shit, is this really, really amazing? But as always, a final battle doesn't really boost up my opinions on the movie. I mean, it does, but it doesn't really affect me as well. I still think Heroes Rising is 10 times better, which is why it's my favorite film of all time. But not only does it kind of improves on Heroes Rising, but it kind of does it in a way where it has a very kind of a petty and predictable villain and a pretty cliche plot twist, or like fake mock out, like surrendering. It just kind of felt weird in my opinion. Now, I get why many people love this movie. In fact, I get why many people say it's the best out of the four movies, but I still prefer Heroes Rising much more than World Heroes Mission. Another thing that I also really liked about it was that if you buy the Blu-ray or the DVD, you get a bonus OVA of the prequel to this movie, where we get to see Deku, Bakugo, Shoto, and Endeavor pretty much fight over who gets to sit in a plane. It's really funny, and it really does feel like it came straight out of the manga. And I'll explain more of that when we get into My Hero Academia Your Next, which is coming out sometime soon. So, with that, there's really not that much to say about My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. I get why it's the best, and I understand why many people love it. I see why, like, don't get me wrong. Love the animation, the music's great, the characters are still tight, the writing is still great, but the villain just felt too predictable and far less emotionally complex, and the whole plot twist with Rhodey was just a little meh. But hey, it really doesn't really change the fact that this movie's still better than Two Heroes, but it's nowhere near Heroes Rising. So in my opinion, I give My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission a good 8 out of 10. A really good movie, just nowhere near as Heroes Rising. So what's next? Well, you're next. I'm sorry, that was terrible. But we're going to be looking at the last My Hero Academia movie that came out, that being My Hero Academia Your Next. A movie that I saw in the theaters, and at first I did not like it, but have my opinions changed on the movie? Well, let's find out soon. This is QuirkyFan73, signing off.